All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Manifest. Welcome to episode 4 of my new relationship podcast. And today's subject is, why do men cheat? The age-old question, right? Now, before we get started, let me just say, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new episode or a new video. Like, comment, and share this video all across your social media platforms. All right. Now I don't profess to be the sole or authoritative voice on men. However, I've been on this earth for quite some time, enough to give a unique perspective on the behavior of men. Okay, so let me just say that. Now, I know a lot of guys will say, "Oh man, Dr. Manford, you can't be giving out our secrets, man," or whatever. Well, listen, I don't see it like that. It's not about secrets or giving out anything. It's about, as men and women, establishing better ways to communicate, establishing better ways to treat one another, to better understand each other, right? So we can continue to grow and build together, so we can have stronger families, less divorces, less domestic violence, all those kind of things, right? So when I speak, I'm coming from a pure place, from my heart. It's not from a judgmental place or trying to quote unquote give out any secrets of the man code or whatever the case may be. But I think that all of us can benefit from having a deeper and better understanding of why we do some of the things that we do. Specifically today, we're going to deal with, why do men cheat? Man. Well, first of all, I'm going to state the obvious. Men and women, cheat majority for different reasons. Now, I'm not going to deal with why women cheat, because I believe that a woman should do that, right? I just think that coming from a woman's perspective, they can give a better one than I could. So I'm going to stick to the male part. All right. So now, the foundation we're going to lay today, that this is, first of all, as I said in a couple of my other episodes, human behavior is extremely complex, right? There's so many different factors into why we do what we do, or why we exhibit the behavior that we do, why we make some of the decisions that we do, right? And the list goes on and on and on, and we're going to deal with a lot of that today. The basic foundation is to why women cheat. And women, I'm telling you, get ready, because I don't know how long this episode is going to be, but whatever it is, because I'm going to have to get it all out. All right, so I hope you have your your pencils and your virtual ears ready to get into it, ready to hear it. All right. The basic foundation for why men cheat are as follows: ego, greed, they have a lustful spirit, insatiability, they're detached emotionally, they have narcissistic type behavior, or they're a narcissist. There's a flaw in their character, opportunity, and selfishness. All right, and now everything I just told you, we're gonna get into. We're gonna dive right into it. Okay, that is the basic foundation for why majority of men cheat. Now, what's not on that list, and I'm going to touch on it, is there are sexual disorders, right? There are people that are actually addicted to sex, that literally can't control themselves. You rarely hear the term nymphomaniac, but guess what? There are still nymphomaniacs, because as long as humans are in existence, we're going to have nymphomaniacs. People just cannot get enough of sex, and so I'm not going to delve too deep into that, but that's not on the list because that's not the norm, right? So that's not the norm for the majority of men. So that's why I'm not dealing with that. And not only that, but I'm not a psychologist, right? Never profess to be, and I'm not a doctor of any type. My honorary PhD in counseling does not, give me the authority to diagnose anyone's behavior like that. But I will give you my perspective and some of my knowledge on it. So that's why that's not on the list of the foundation for why men cheat. So let's get into it. Let's deal with the very first one, ego. A lot of men, sometimes, when a man comes into power, They say money makes you the person you really are, right? And I do believe that to a certain extent. Money and power with men is just it's not a good mix, because it gives them the sense of power, of being able to do whatever they want to do, and it's okay because they have money, or because they're rich, or they're wealthy, or whatever the case may be, right? So it's ego. It's like, so what? Yeah, I'll go out there and I'll cheat on her, because I mean, what's she going to do? I pay all the bills, right? I take care of everything, so she's going to be okay with this behavior. And that's the thinking of some men, okay? And that speaks directly to their ego. They feel they can do what they want to do because they're they're the breadwinner, this and that. And some men who aren't even the breadwinner think this way. So I don't want to make it seem like it's exclusively about having money or the perception of power. Now, a lot of it has to do with that, yes, but there are men who think like that who don't have a lot of money and power. So, I mean, there you go, right? And again, lies that the complex nature of humans and human behavior, right? So I literally asked this guy one time. I said, I asked him, I said, why do you cheat on your wife? I mean, she's a good woman, she does what she's supposed to do. I mean, she takes care of you, takes care of the home, whatever the case may be. And his answer to me was that he just couldn't be with one woman. He don't know what it is. He just can't be with one woman. Now that speaks to insatiability. We haven't gotten there yet, but I just thought that was very peculiar. So I said, okay, well, if you really feel that way, why did you marry her? And this dude actually told me, because everybody needs a foundation or a rock. That was his answer to me. And in my mind, I'm like, wow. So basically, what he was saying is that he wanted to have his cake and eat it too. He wanted to be able to go out there, play, lay around with the dogs, and get up with the fleas. And then when he was ready, come back home and have a woman there waiting for him after he came back in from a night of his doggish, whorish ways. That's basically what it was. I'm like, wow. I just couldn't believe he actually said that. But there are men that think that way. Right? They want to be able to do what they want to do. And again, that speaks to their ego. Right? They're going to give you flashes of that in the beginning, being inconsiderate and insensitive even, right? 9 times out of 10, men who give off the impression of being inconsiderate or insensitive, there's something there. And I urge and encourage you all to just kind of look a little deeper. And again, like I said in the first or second podcast episode, don't ignore the red flags. Red is the universal color for potential danger. Don't ignore the red flags. Deal with it, because they're giving you a preview of what to expect. Don't think you're going to meet them one way and then they're going to miraculously change. That's not how it normally works. So, ego. And it's not lost on me, I don't know if, about you all, that 2 of those things I listed are of the 7 deadly sins, and that's greed and lust. Right? That's not lost on me, because those I tell people all the time. 9 times out of 10, certain spirits hang out with other spirits. If you have a spirit of lust on you, well, the spirit of greed isn't far behind. Right? If you have the spirit of lust on you, well, the spirit of perversion isn't trailing far behind. So you have to be careful with these spirits, right? Because that's what they are. Right? And again, I'll reiterate it. My foundation is the Bible. So, I'm far from a Bible thumper or some kind of holy roller or anything like that, but I'm a believer, and I believe that those are spirits, and I believe that those spirits they tend to hang out with one another. The spirit of jealousy. Well, if someone has a spirit of jealousy, well, guess what? The spirit of insecurity is not going to be too far behind. And the list goes on, right? And so with that being said, we get into greed. Some men are just greedy. They want it all. That kind of speaks to the ego, but they want to have their cake and eat it too. And what's so wrong with that, fellas, is that, you have a good woman. God blesses you with a good woman, right? And you turn around basically and you slap God in the face by not doing her right. I mean, if you got a woman who's treating you right, who's taking care of you in every way, who's, holding the house down, holding you down, all this kind of thing, that's a blessing, right? So that's a blessing from the Most High. So my thing is, that's like slapping God in his face when you do that to her. He trusted you with his daughter, his beautiful daughter of Zion. This is what you do to her, and no woman deserves that, and if you really feel that, you can't be true to your commitment to one woman, or you're true to your commitment to her, then don't commit to her. Because the only thing you're going to do is you're going to damage her for other men coming down the line. Because I tell women all the time, listen, and this is the harsh reality. Some people are rest stops on your way to somewhere else. We sometimes we spend so much time and energy trying to hold on to things we were never meant to have. Let me say that one more time. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, we try to hold on to things we were never meant to have. And so, with that being said, we put unnecessary stress on ourselves, unnecessary, depression, right? Heartache, emotional pain, and sometimes, unfortunately, even physical pain in the process of trying to love someone, right? And this is the result of that. This is the quasi thanks you get for trying to do those things, right? And so, we put ourselves through unnecessary heartache and pain because the person that we're with, God did not ordain for us to be with. God did not choose them for us. We chose that person for whatever reason or reasons. Okay? The Bible says what God and who God put together, let no man put asunder. Okay? The operative is God put together. So we make decisions, good, bad, and indifference. We make choices. Right? Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but we live them and we make them and we have to live with them. Okay? And so, when you meet someone and like I said, they show you certain things, don't ignore it. Because let me tell you something, ladies, and I'm speaking to the ladies, fellas, not because I'm trying to curry favor or anything like that, but I'm giving them a unique perspective from a man to give them an understanding of why we as men, and not me, because I don't do that cheating stuff. But when I say we, I mean we collectively. I fall into the male species, so I say we, and I use it collectively because I'm not different or better than anyone. I'm just saying. So when I say we collectively as males, right? So we have to look at ourselves. And so I'm speaking to them from that perspective of being a male and giving them better understanding, hopefully. But ladies, if a man has a lusting or lustful spirit, nothing you do for him sexually will satisfy him, and that's the point. That's why lust is one of the 7 deadly sins, right? Like no matter what you do for that man, you can say, I've heard women say, oh, I'll give him so much love and give him so much sex and do this for him and do that for him. He'll be too tired to want somebody else, or too tired to go to another woman, or whatever the case may be. I mean, that's a flawed sense of logic. I mean, if you have to even think like that, then you probably have already lost, if you know what I mean, right? If you have to really think like that, if you have to really use that to convince yourself that you doing all those things for your man sexually will keep him from going outside of your relationship or have that wandering eye. And that's the point of this episode, right? There are things that are beyond what we know and think to be logical, right? Or what we know and think to be right. Simple as that. As to why men cheat, right? And we're going to get into other stuff, but let me finish up and deal with this lustful spirit. Because see, that lustful spirit, a man who has a lustful spirit, you have to be careful. Because like I said, if he has a lustful spirit, the spirit of perversion isn't far behind, and they tend to hang out together. And that could mean anything. Because that lustful spirit means that they can't be satisfied. They just want. I mean, like I said, that speaks to, insatiability. I guess we're dealing with that simultaneously right now. That lustful spirit hangs out with insatiability. No matter what you do for him, he's just not going to be satisfied sexually. But this is why you have to really have these deep, spiritual deep conversations. And not only that, but just observe his behavior, observe how he is with you, observe how he is intimately, observe how he is in the bedroom, observe and take note of what he asks you to do with and for him sexually, right? Because they're clues too. You know, I've always said that if a man wants to share you as a woman with another woman, he cares nothing about you. It's about him, right? It's about satisfying his lust, his selfishness, his ego, right? It's about him. Any man that wants to share you, the woman who's supposed to be his treasure, his everything, would want to share you with another man. That tells you right there all you need to know about how he feels about you. I don't care what nobody says. He doesn't love you. It's about him. It's about satisfying his ego, right? His testosterone-driven ego. Nothing more or less. He couldn't care less about how you feel as long as you agree to do what he wants you to do to help satisfy him. See, and that kind of goes into the whole narcissistic behavior or narcissistic personality disorder, right? Stuff like that, where it's all about them. Everything. It doesn't matter. Like they're insensitive to you. They're insensitive to how and what you feel or how what you need from him emotionally. They're insensitive. They're indifferent to that because it's not about you. And that's the point. It's about them. But see, they're going to exhibit these behaviors in the beginning. They'll trust me. The signs will be there. You just have to not ignore them or try to explain it away. Oh, well, he's just so and so, or he's just see. Every time you make excuses for someone's behavior, you're basically giving them permission to continue with the behavior. Note to self: stop making excuses for people, okay? Because that in itself is a flaw. All right, accept them for who and what they're giving you that they are. Period. Point blank. Right? Men who are detached emotionally, which is another reason why men cheat, because they're indifferent. Rather it being, we can talk about and argue why some people, not just men, are indifferent or emotionally distant. I mean, we could talk about astrological aspects. We can talk about, you know, not being loved or hugged as a child or shown love and affection as a child. We can argue all the things as to why some people are just emotionally distant or detached emotionally, because you need to be detached emotionally to go out there and make a willful decision to cheat on someone who's done nothing but take good care of you, love you, honor you, revere you even to an extent, and for you to go outside of that and still betray their love and their trust and cheat on them. You have to be detached emotionally. It's like, where is your heart? How could you do that? Right? That's the thing. So you have to be detached emotionally to be able to consciously make a decision to go outside of your wife and have sex with another woman. The minute you have sex with another woman outside of your marriage, I submit to you, fellas, you have broken your sacred bond. You have broken your covenant with the Most High God. You might as well stay with her. You might as well just take your ring off and throw it in the dumpster, because that's it. The sacred bond is broken. My grandfather told me that a bond is like a plate. He says you don't break it. He said because you can glue it back together, but it will never be the same. Okay, and that's an analogy you all are welcome to borrow. Okay, because that's very true. So the moral to that is, regardless of what, you don't break your bond. Because once someone loses trust, you can go to all the counseling you want. You can say you forgive the person. No, it's not about forgiving. That's what people don't understand. You can forgive someone all day. That doesn't mean that you forgot what they did. That doesn't mean that the hurt isn't still there of what they did. So what does forgiving them really do? Right? You're not gonna totally retrust them ever again. Please believe. You can get yourself to think and believe that. Hey, and if you do, God bless you. But I'm gonna tell you right now, once that trust is broken, right? It's rare to damn near impossible for it to ever come back, and that's why the moral is to don't break the trust. Don't break it. But being detached emotionally is a prerequisite for why a lot of men cheat. They're indifferent. They're indifferent to your emotional needs. They're indifferent. That's why a lot of men claim, and some women claim, that they don't like kissing. I'm gonna tell you why a lot of men say they don't like kissing, ladies, because to them, kissing performs an emotion. Kissing is a very intimate and emotional thing for a lot of men. That's their way of saying they don't want to attach to you emotionally. They want you to make them feel good. They want to feel good when they're with you, but they don't want an emotional connection with you. That's what a lot of men and some women mean when they say they don't like kissing. Right? I'm not going to say exclusively it's like that with everyone who doesn't like kissing, but for the most part, people I've talked to, people I've interviewed, it's because they do not want to form an emotional connection with you. And so if it's about just sex, well, I mean, how more detached can you get? If you're just two people just, satisfying one another physically and sexually with no intimate, intimate type touching or kissing involved, right? No intimacy. Sex without intimacy, man, that is listen, that is one of the biggest signs right there that when a person is detached, or they want to be detached emotionally from you. Right? And I'm just speaking real, fellas. You can say, "Oh, you're giving out the secrets. You can't be." Now, listen, man. Listen. One of us needs to speak like how I'm speaking, because women need to get a better understanding into how we think, why we do some of the things that we do, and I'm hopefully providing that. So it ain't about giving up no secrets. It's about us becoming better as a people. So like I said, we can cut down on the divorces, cut down on less on domestic violence, things of that nature. I've always said that, and this is another reason why some men cheat, a lot of men cheat, majority of men that cheat, I would say, is because I always said that cheating is a character flaw. That's something that I phrased a long time ago. There's something in that person's character that says, hey, regardless of how good this woman treats me, regardless of what she does to me, for me, whatever it does for our family, takes care of my children, whatever the case may be. And not only that, takes care of them, but she bore the children, carried them 9 months, went through all of that, labor, pain. I mean, fellas, we have no idea, man, the amount of things that women go through, right? Like, seriously, she went through all of that. And for you to go out there and cheat on her, like just spit on all of that. Right? We really have to do better. We really have to do better. I mean, seriously, but cheating is a character flaw. It is. We can talk about and argue, what the flaw is, or how you're flawed, or why you're flawed, whatever the case may be. I mean, it's a thing of, it's a universal law of cause and effect. I get it. But the bottom line is that's a part of your character. Right? No loyalty to your commitment. You're willing to risk it all. And for what? Ego, greed, lust. Takes us right back to the first three we talked about in the beginning of the podcast, ladies. As to why men cheat. That's why, again, two of those things I mentioned are the 7 deadly sins. Flawed character. You cheat on your woman, you cheat on your taxes, you just cheat. Anything that can give you an advantage, anything that helps you, forget the other person. See, that's the classic sign that you're a narcissist. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, because narcissism is probably one of the biggest undiagnosed problems in a lot of relationships. People just don't know. Let me give you all a backdrop. A male and female, but I'm not dealing with females today. A male who most likely is a narcissist or exhibits narcissistic behavior is someone who cannot see any flaws in themselves. Someone who will not accept, who can't accept any flaws in themselves. Everything is pretty much, it's your fault. It's because of you they did what they did. It's because of you. Everything is you. Right? They refuse to accept anything unpleasant about themselves and their behavior. They refuse to take responsibility. They refuse to take accountability. They love to be praised. They love to hear good things about themselves, and anything they consider negative, they just block it out. They don't accept that. Not at all. Right? You have to be a total narcissist to be able to cheat on someone indifferently like that. because it's about you. Narcissistic personality disorder, I promise you. And again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not, but I know the behavioral patterns of a narcissist, right? And I submit to you all that a man who exhibits narcissistic personality disorder, he's going to be he's definitely the poster child for being most likely to cheat on you. You have to be the one to see those signs in the beginning, and again, not ignore it. Address it. NPD is real. It's almost like you can't reason with a narcissist. Okay, if they hurt you, there's a logical reason as to why, right? I mean, it's like they are so emotionally detached from not just you, but just kind of reality. They live in their own reality in their mind. And again, that's a clinical, psychological diagnosis. You have to, but a lot of people they won't acknowledge it. They don't even want to go to the doctor. They don't want to talk to a doctor. That's kind of the whole point. They're not going to ever cop to being a narcissist, because for them to do that it's like it says that they agree that they have a flaw in themselves, a flaw in their character, a flaw in their personality even, and that's just it. They don't want to deal with that. They reject that. So good luck on trying to get a narcissist to go to get diagnosed or to speak to someone, a psychiatrist or a psychologist about it. So good luck on that one. But that's probably the number one sign. They're the poster children for the ones most likely to cheat, the ones who exhibit narcissistic personality disorder. Again, we talk about opportunity as another reason why men cheat. But I can say that speaks to the character, the flaw in their character, right? Like, why would you like the thing that makes a man and a woman, but again, I'm not dealing with women today. The thing that would make a man say, listen, you know what? I have this beautiful wife. I have a home. I have everything that I ever wanted. A beautiful family. She's given me, a couple beautiful children, whatever the case may be. For a man that you took a vow with this woman, you promised to love, honor, and cherish her, whatever the case may be. And so for a man to say, you know what, but forget all that, and make a conscious decision to step outside of that and break that bond and that covenant you have with that woman, that is. I mean, listen, this is coming from a man I've been cheated on, right? So I definitely have a quote unquote unique perspective. Okay, that is the ultimate selfish act that you could do, and it speaks to the flaw in your character that will allow you to do that. So for you to allow the temptation and the urge, which again I mentioned before, some of those urges could be a sexual disorder, right? But that's not the norm. Okay, that the conscious decision to cheat is not a mistake, contrary to what a lot of people say. Everyone makes a mistake. Listen, grammatical errors are mistakes. Okay, making a decision to go outside of your wife, to have sex with another woman outside of your wife, your committed relationship, is not a mistake. It's a choice. Okay, enough with the mistake stuff. No, none of us are perfect, right? But see, people normally use that, not perfect stuff when they're trying to hide one of their shortcomings. In other words, they don't want to deal with them having a flawed character. They don't want to deal with that. So they just say, oh, well, God's working on me, or I'm a work in progress. Catchphrases like that. Don't fall for it. That's just their way of keeping you off balance and not taking responsibility and accountability for their behavior. That's a bunch of nonsense is what it is. It doesn't take God, 5, 10, 15, 20 years to quote unquote do a work in somebody. Okay, that right there is a trick of the enemy, and the devil is a liar on that. Okay, because we make conscious free will decisions, and then we want to try to say, then we want to bring God into it. Knock it off, man. Knock it off. Like I said, we talk about all the different factors and different variables into what goes into a man making a conscious decision to cheat, right? Everything we've talked about so far, ego, greed, lust, insatiability, right? And I believe, pride actually is goes up there with ego, and that's another seven deadly sin as well. Pride, put that next to ego, basically, right? And there's a reason why it's a sin. Those are the things that get men in trouble. There are men right now in their grave or in the penitentiary because of some of those things we're talking about right now today. And that's the harsh reality. Just selfish. Everything's about them. And we could put that in there with the whole narcissistic thing, right? Then again, they may not be a narcissist. They may just be a selfish individual, right? To make a conscious decision to cheat on a good woman who doesn't deserve to be cheated on. Why would you do that? Why would you even make the commitment if you had any inkling that you were going to do that, if you're going to cheat, right? See, in my situation, my ex-wife cheated because it was a thing of opportunity, and she was trying to replace me. I wasn't there, but then again, I was gone for 6 months. Not that it's an excuse, but when you're young and not used to being apart, 6 months to half a year, that's a long time. So for her, it was opportunity because I wasn't there, I wasn't around. Yeah, sure. Then she had an opportunity to meet someone, right? And then eventually, it might have been innocent in the beginning, but that's how it starts. It starts off innocently in the beginning. But any man and woman who hangs around each other that are not gay, eventually, and if there's an attraction, let's be real, eventually sex can and will happen. Eventually. Right? So you can't keep, testing the devil and thinking everything's going to be cool. You keep testing. Well, guess what? You're going to find yourself in a situation that you didn't plan to be in. Now you have a whole nother situation. So it's not worth it. So yeah, opportunity, that's another reason, but that speaks to a person's character. That speaks to, all the things that we spoke about up to this point. That's what that speaks to. You're not going to do that if you're committed to this person and you're committed to your relationship, right? And you're sold out to it. You're not thinking about somebody else, right? You're not going to be inappropriate. You're not going to do anything inappropriately because you respect your wife, your woman. You respect your relationship. Men know what's appropriate and what's not, and if they don't, then ladies, it's your job to tell them, to let it be known. Don't be silent. Silence gives consent. Remember that. Silence gives consent. If someone is exhibiting a behavior that you do not like, or that you find offensive, or that you find wrong, or that you find hurts your feelings or disrespects you, you're not saying anything. That's your fault. That's on you. You have to let them know that's not acceptable. You have to let them know that's not appropriate. Transfer that burden, transfer that energy back to them. Okay? Because people think that being silent is keeping the peace. And yeah, that's half of it. But the other half is that you're keeping the peace, but you're emotionally breaking inside. This person is destroying you emotionally and mentally, and to an extent spiritually. And your silence only makes that worse. So you have to speak up. You have to say something. When someone says or does something that's inappropriate, you have to let them know that you do not like it. It's inappropriate, and you want them to stop. Period. Point blank. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be your child. It could be your mama, your daddy. It doesn't matter. Period. No one is exempt. Okay? And that's just what it is. Because when someone makes a free will, conscious decision, I don't want to hear that it was a mistake. Knock it off. I don't want to hear it. But again, in all fairness, and I've heard men say, I didn't want to cheat. I don't know what it is. I just couldn't help myself. Right? And on the surface, that sounds like some BS, whatever case may be. But the reality is, like I mentioned before, there are sexual disorders. Something called compulsive sexual behavior. All right? Compulsive sexual behavior is sometimes called hypersexuality disorder, or sexual addiction. It's an excessive preoccupation with sexual fantasies, urges, or behaviors that is difficult to control. Causes you distress or negatively affects your health, your job, your relationships, or other parts of your life. Compulsive sexual behavior, it may involve a variety of commonly enjoyable sexual experiences. Examples include masturbation, cybersex, sexting, which is a big thing now, multiple sexual partners, use of pornography, or paying for sex, right? And ladies will say, "Well, I give him all the sex he wants. Why would he go out there and want to pay for sex?" Exactly. That's not normal behavior, right? He may have a sexual disorder, right? And like I said, we're not. I didn't put that on the list because that's not the norm. But I'm just saying, I'm just being real, putting it all out there, all sides, right? He may have a sexual disorder undiagnosed. That's probably what's going on. That may be what's going on. If he said, "Well, I just can't," you giving him all this sex, you're doing all this stuff, but yeah, he's going out there and looking for other women for sexual satisfaction. Doesn't make sense, right? That's not normal behavior. So he may be the prototype for having a sexual disorder or sexual behavioral disorder, right? See, when these sexual behaviors become a major focus in your life, are difficult to control, and are disruptive or harmful to you or others, they may be considered compulsive sexual behavior. All right? But no matter what it's called or the exact nature of the behavior, untreated compulsive sexual behavior can damage your self-esteem, your relationships, your career, health, and other people. But with treatment and self-help, you can learn to manage compulsive sexual behavior. But again, this is not an out, so I don't want you to misunderstand me. But I'm just saying, I'm just being given a fair overview of the whole thing, because there are a lot of reasons why men cheat. There are a lot of different reasons why women cheat, but women more so cheat on men because of what they're lacking emotionally, what they're not getting emotionally. There's a percentage of women that cheat because they're not being satisfied, but I mean that percentage is smaller than those who cheat for emotional reasons, right? Not being treated right, not being treated fairly, not being or for their mate being emotionally distant to them, or whatever the case may be, not satisfying their emotional needs and even their spiritual needs to an extent, right? But again, I'm just kind of speaking on that real quick because I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it's you make a free will conscious decision to cheat. You're given into the temptation. So that's so basically what you're saying is the temptation is stronger than your commitment to that woman. That's basically what you're saying. Your ego and your lust and your insatiability is much stronger than your love and commitment to your wife or your woman in your relationship. That's what you're saying. All right, and if that's the case, that's sad. And but it starts with first and foremost acknowledging that you have a problem, acknowledging the flawed behavior. And ladies, again, don't help them. Don't make excuses. Okay, a man's going to show you exactly who he is. There's signs in the beginning. I promise you, there's signs. Sometimes it's subtle, but they're there. Your job is to not ignore them, but to meet them head on. Because I promise you, if you ignore those signs in the beginning, I guarantee you with almost 100% accuracy, you will live to regret it. On that note, I'm going to end this episode. I really hope you all got something from this. I touched on everything. Why do men cheat? Quick overview. They're detached emotionally. They may have narcissistic personality disorder, and if they do, that means that they definitely won't or can't acknowledge their behavior as being wrong or as harming you emotionally. Ego, greed. They have a lustful spirit. Okay, insatiability, selfishness, and that the selfishness speaks to them having potentially narcissistic personality disorder. They may actually have a sexual disorder. But I think again that's probably like the last line of defense, if you will, for why men cheat. A lot of different reasons, but that's the main thing. Those are the main reasons why men cheat. And my thing, I'm gonna leave you with this. When someone shows you who they are, y'all know the rest. Believe them. I promise you, you have a much better, healthier, and happier life if you do. All right? All right, well, that's it for this episode. Again, I hope you all got something from it. So until next time, this is Dr. Manifest signing off. You guys take care, be productive, and God bless.